Hi, my name is Heather, and I'm here to tell you all about a wonderful book we have for you at the library. Well, obviously we have lots of books for you at the library, and they're all free, but the difference with this one is you get to keep it forever. It's for you and your child to have fun. It's filled with all kinds of rhymes and fun activities to do together. Some of them are intended to be sung, but of course the book doesn't come with a piano or a guitar, so I'm here to sing the songs for you so that you have an idea how to have fun with them with your child. Here we go. Now the first song that has a tune to it in the book is called Down by the Station. And this is a song about a train. Very simple. Generally, we put up our 5 fingers to show the trains or the cars of the train. It goes like this. Down by the station, early in the morning, see the little puffer bellies all in a row. See the engine driver pull his little lever. Puff, puff, toot, toot, off we go. That's all there is to it. You can have fun with your child. Maybe while you're sitting and waiting for the train to go by and you're in your car, you could sing that song with your child. The next one is an old folk song that's been around for a long time called Here We Go Round the Mulberry Bush. And the idea of this one is to use your imagination and make up whatever you want with it. It goes like this. Here we go round the mulberry bush, the mulberry bush, the mulberry bush. Here we go round the mulberry bush on the cold and frosty morning. But maybe it's not a cold and frosty morning. Maybe you're at home and it's raining outside and your child's a little grumpy, so you could do, here we go round the mulberry bush, the mulberry bush, the mulberry bush. Here we go round the mulberry bush on a gray and rainy morning. And then you could also add some different activities with it, like this is the way we wiggle our fingers, wiggle our fingers, wiggle our fingers. This is the way we wiggle our fingers on a bright and sunny morning. Just make it up however you want to keep your child entertained and having fun. The next one in the book that has a tune to it is called Row, Row, Row Your Boat. Of course, who doesn't know that song? But we've added a couple of extra verses. But let's start with the traditional one. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. But here's some fun with it. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream. But if you see a crocodile, don't forget to scream. And maybe you and your child could come up with different ideas of what you might see as you're rowing your boat. If you've got your child in your lap, very gently you could move their hands back and forth with yours. That's a nice thing to do. Well, this is one of the favorites at story time. It's called 10 in the Bed, and it's a great one to teach counting. It's also teaching rhyming, and it's also getting maybe some of the wiggles out if you need to do that with your child. And it goes like this. There were 10 in the bed, and the little one said, roll over, roll over. So they all rolled over, and one jumped out. And maybe if you have your child on your lap, you could do just a little bounce. Or if you have a room full of kids that they're there for a birthday party or something, everybody jumps. Then the next verse, there were 9 in the bed, and the little one said, roll over, roll over. So they all rolled over, and one marched out. You can add whatever actions you want going all the way down to number 1. It's a great one, keeps them entertained for a long time. This is a nice one to teach about the parts of the body. It's called I've Got One Head. I've got one head and one nose too. I can nod, 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 and so can you. I've got 2 legs and 2 feet too. I can run, 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 and so can you. I've got 2 eyes and 2 hands too. I can read, 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 and so can you. This is a great motivation to get them excited about reading and making them understand that all these things you can do, they will eventually be able to do as well. If you want to teach colors to your child, we have a song in here called If Your Clothes. If your clothes have any red, if your clothes have any red, if your clothes have any red, put your finger on your head. If your clothes have any red, if your clothes have any blue, if your clothes have any blue, if your clothes have any blue, put your finger on your shoe. If your clothes have any blue. And you can keep going on, adding whatever colors you want and whatever rhyme you want. The important thing about this song that is really helpful for them to get them ready to read is to sort of pause before you actually say the word of what you're about to point to, and hope that they will say it first. That way they're beginning to understand about rhyming, and that's what we want them to do before they're ready to read, because rhyming helps them hear the sounds of words and how when you move a letter around at the beginning of a word, it makes a new word. So instead of just saying, put your finger on your head, put your finger on your head, and maybe they'll get it before you say it, and that's a great thing to get them ready to read. All right, our next song in the book is called Bumping Up and Down. You've got your child on your lap. I'm going to use jingle here to demonstrate. And you've got your child in your lap, and so you're just going to very gently bump up and down. Bumping up and down in my little red wagon, bumping up and down in my little red wagon, bumping up and down in my little red wagon, let's ride off together, and give them a big hug. But maybe you've got a room full of toddlers and you really want them to spend some of their energy, so you've got your arms out and it's flying up high in my little red airplane, flying up high in my little red airplane, flying up high in my little red airplane, let's ride off together. Or if you want them really moving, you could do going real fast in my little red car, and you can have them running, whatever you want to add to the song and have fun with it to get them moving along. Well, everybody knows that a child loves peek-a-boo. They love that surprise, and it's also teaching them that, oh my goodness, mommy went away, mommy came back. Mommy goes away, mommy comes back. Which is a great lesson for them to learn, that you might actually have to walk away for a few minutes and then you'll be right back. So we start that lesson when they're just babies playing peekaboo. Well, that's what this song is all about in your book called Peekaboo, and it goes like this. Peekaboo, peekaboo, I see you, I see you. I see your button nose, I see your little toes, peekaboo, I see you. And what I'd suggest is that you actually touch their nose and their toes, and you're looking at them all the time when you play this game. So you've got them in your lap or maybe sitting across from you. Great one to do when they're in their high chair and you're trying to get them to eat their food and keep their good temper, so you could sing that song with them. All right, the next one that has a tune to it is just silly. It has absolutely no sense to it, and there's not anything in particular to do with it, but it's a fun one to sing. It's called Little Momo Monkey. Little Momo Monkey had a fly upon his nose. Little Momo Monkey had a fly upon his nose. Little Momo Monkey had a fly upon his nose, and he flicked it till it flew away. So if you've got your child in your lap and you're singing that song, it surprises them when you maybe flick that nose a little bit, and maybe you'll get a giggle out of it, or you might tickle them at that point, whatever, just to have fun. Our next one that has a tune to it is called Five Green and Speckled Frogs, and this is a standby favorite at story time. They never get tired of it. Now I'm going to show it first as a finger rhyme, but you could also do it as a big movement action rhyme, and I'll show you the difference in a few minutes. But if it's just a finger rhyme and you've got your child sitting there, you put up your arm like a log, and these are your 5 green and speckled frogs. 5 green and speckled frogs sat on a speckled log, eating some most delicious bugs. One jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Now there are 4 green speckled frogs. 4 green and speckled frogs sat on a speckled log, eating some most delicious bugs. One jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Now there are 3 green speckled frogs. And so on, you continue down until you have the 1 frog, 1 green and speckled frog sat on a speckled log, eating some most delicious bugs. One jumped into the pool where it was nice and cool. Now there are no green speckled frogs. Glub, glub. If you want to actually get them up and moving, which I often do at story time, then instead of sitting with the 5 fingers over the log, they're actually standing up, and when they jump into the pool, they jump, and then they pretend to swim like a frog, and they get a lot more action that way. Well, the next one is called the Eensy Weensy Monkey. Now, I'll bet you know the Eensy Weensy Spider, and that's the same tune for this one. It's just that it's about a monkey up in a coconut tree, and it goes like this. The Eensy Weensy Monkey climbed down the coconut tree. Down fell a coconut and bopped him on the knee. Ouch! Out came a lion, a-shaking his mighty mane. Roar! And the Eensy Weensy Monkey climbed up the tree again. Really a fun one, a silly one, good one to entertain a child who's maybe getting a little bit bored and getting them to participate in the actions as well. This next one is a perfect one to do when you are trapped inside a car, on a trip, trapped in a waiting room, and it's going to be a long wait. You're on a hike and they're losing their patience. They don't want to hike anymore, and you don't want to carry them anymore, and you want to keep them moving along. This song keeps adding on, and you can make it last as long as you want. It's called There's a Hole in the Bottom of the Sea. There's a hole in the bottom of the sea. There's a hole in the bottom of the sea. There's a hole, there's a hole, there's a hole in the bottom of the sea. Now someone has to come up with what is in the hole. Maybe you'll start it out, and you could say the normal thing like there's a lobster in the hole in the sea, and that would make sense. But it's a lot more fun to use your imagination and be crazy about it. So let's say you say, there's a T-Rex in the hole in the bottom of the sea. There's a T-Rex in the hole in the bottom of the sea. There's a T-Rex, there's a T-Rex, there's a T-Rex in the hole in the bottom of the sea. And then you ask your child, what's next in our song? And she might say, a unicorn. There's a unicorn on the T-Rex in the hole in the bottom of the sea. There's a unicorn on the T-Rex in the hole in the bottom of the sea. There's a unicorn, there's a unicorn, there's a unicorn on the T-Rex in the hole in the bottom of the sea. Well, this can go on forever as long as you can remember the words. Now, if you really want to tie this in with getting a child ready to read, you can make it more phonics-based and ask them to make every word start with a particular letter. So that one we started out with a T-Rex. Maybe you're asking them to start every word with the letter T. So the next one would be a train, and the next one might be a top, and so on. So that they're thinking about the sound of the letter T, 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 and they're putting it into the song, coming up with words that begin with that letter. For the older child, like about a 5-year-old, you could ask them to come up with words that rhyme. That's harder. 2-year-old isn't going to be able to do that, but a 5-year-old might be able to. And the important thing here is it doesn't have to make sense. We don't care if the word is real. What we care about is that they understand the sound. So perhaps you started out with the word train, and the next person correctly says brain, but the next person says prane. Okay, it's not really a word, but that doesn't matter. They're hearing the sound of the rhyme, and that's what counts. All right, we're down to the last one that has a tune, and this one is an old nursery rhyme song called Rock-a-Bye Baby. A lot of people are uncomfortable with the words in Rockabye Baby because it's about the baby falling from the tree. The idea of it is you have your child in your lap and you gently open your knees and hold on to your baby as you drop them a little bit of the ways beneath your knees. But when I got my baby and was holding her in my arms, I didn't want to sing those words, so I made up some words, and this is the way it goes. Rock-a-bye baby in my arms, I will keep you safe from harm. I will hold you close to my heart and love you forever, right from the start. I hope you will enjoy your book, Read, Rhyme, and Romp. Be sure and stop by the library, ask for a book, or maybe you'll be able to get it in one of our Raise a Reader packets. We look forward to seeing you at the library.